back. Networking Squared. Jerry O here with Al Crawford. We're glad to be here, and we are talking Medicare, Medicaid, Part A, Part B. There's so many parts of this stuff. I appreciate Kathy Stein-Hazeldine being here, and she works for Apex Elite and the senior healthcare consultant there. And I had to define what a senior was. And welcome, Kathy. Why don't you say hello to everybody?
Hello.
Okay. What do you call a senior?
Anyone over 65.
All right. So thank goodness. So anybody over 65. So the people that you're working with are going to be 65 and up.
Correct.
Would you start talking to somebody when they're 64?
If they'd like to, sure.
Okay, so maybe kind of as a pre-thing, this is what we're going to be doing. How long does it take somebody to make decisions on that?
Well, as long as they need to understand what they need to understand. It can take me maybe 2 hours to explain all the ins and outs and the goods and the bads.
Okay, and you live in Southgate, so you're here, and you just told me you just bought a new home a year ago or so.
Yes.
And welcome to homeownership. And you're from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and you have a degree in chemistry. So,
wow.
If I'd have only known her in the 60s.
Yeah.
So, having a degree in chemistry, and where did you get that degree from? Indiana
University, Purdue University at Fort Wayne.
Okay.
IPFW.
Okay.
And you met your husband, University of Toledo, in a graduate program. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, obviously, a very smart family.
Very well-educated family.
Very well-educated. You like to sew and knit, and she says she calls them girly crafts, which I don't have a clue what that is. I'm not much of a knitter. How did you get involved in that?
When I was little, I climbed up on my mom's lap when she was at her sewing machine, and it just kind of came natural.
Okay. So getting involved in being a senior healthcare consultant, how did you get involved in that, or what made you want to tackle that kind of a job? Well,
I worked with insurance, and there's a huge need for what I do. With the baby boomer generation turning 65 this year, there's a huge need.
Okay, so the baby boomers, this is the year, or next year is when they start turning 65?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that, we had somebody on the show a few weeks ago, and they said that there was like 10,000 people a day are turning 65 now.
Correct.
And so it's something where we know that there is a huge need. So what I'm getting from in the times that I've met you and stuff is that I see you as being somebody who's really there to take care of people, that you are a nurturer, and that your mission is to really give people the information and the knowledge that they need to make the proper decisions.
Yes.
All right, good. Go ahead, Jared.
Well, do you consider yourself an educator then?
Yes, absolutely. That's what we do to get in the door, basically, because we do meet our seniors in their homes in a comfortable atmosphere, in a place where it's private, so that they can talk about their health issues and that sort of thing. And we do educate on the recent changes in Medicare, because there's been 2 or 3 things in the last couple of years, important things that have changed.
Well, as we talk about Facebook and how much Facebook changes, Al, I want to know how much Medicare and Medicaid is changing.
Well, one thing with Medicaid, in Michigan, it now covers eyeglasses and dental care.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't. Well, it's going to be a while before you need it. Yeah, thank goodness, Al. But
Medicaid is for people that are on low income, and Medicare is for those over 65.
With normal income, or whatever you would call that. So Medicaid is low income?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. So what, now, do you help people with Medicaid?
There are some things I can do. I can talk to them about what life insurance they have and see if that's a good place. Sometimes people have an accidental death policy, and they think it would cover them if they die from sickness, and it just won't.
So do some people have both? Do some people have both Medicaid and Medicare at the same time?
Correct, yes.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
Right.
So you can have Medicaid and Medicare. So you're going out, meeting seniors in their home. Would their children get involved? Would some of the seniors' children get involved so maybe they could kind of help mom and dad along with what you've got to talk about?
Well, that would be up to the seniors. Some do, some don't.
Okay. Is that helpful for you?
Yes. A lot of them will say, I want to talk it over with my son or daughter because I talk things over with my adult children.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good for me to just have one meeting with the senior and the adult child, and then I can answer all questions at that time.
I think that in what you do, there's a lot of people that just don't understand or don't know that they qualify. Can you give us some scenarios or some ideas of like the type of people that have just recently retired? What are the scenarios that you typically see or are the best people for you?
Well, most of the time I see people who have been retired and have been on Medicare for 5 to 10 years, and they may not be in the best place with their Medicare supplement, and they don't understand what their supplement covers, what it doesn't cover, because there are so many choices with Medicare supplements.
So once somebody actually signs up for Medicare, they actually can change the program. They can change what they're doing.
Well, Medicare itself, Medicare A and B, original Medicare, it's up to the government what it covers.
Okay.
And the Medicare supplement is there to fill in the gaps.
Oh, I see.
Because Medicare itself only covers 80%, and there's no cap to the 20% that they have to cover. So most seniors will have a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan to help bridge the gap so that they can retire comfortably.
Okay, and we talked a little bit about, and I've heard it on the radio and reading about it in the newspaper, Al, and it really is confusing to me, but have you heard about open enrollment and things like that at the end of each year? Why don't you explain to us, Kathy, a little bit about this open enrollment that goes on every year, and it starts November 15th, and then the seniors have until the end of the year to make this choice, and they can switch every year then?
Yes, that's with the Medicare Advantage plans, and those are completely different from the Medicare Supplement plans, and everybody gets them mixed up. Medicare Advantage plans have an enrollment period where people can change their plan, change companies, with insurance companies, and there's just the one time each year.
All right. So if they have, and I'm trying to get trying to get my head around this. So this open enrollment, is that planned from the government or is that from a provider like yourself?
It's from insurance companies.
Okay.
My company, we don't promote the Medicare Advantage plans. We prefer the Medicare Supplement plans.
Okay.
And I guess the question that I would have, and obviously I'm not to that point yet, but really what I'm looking for is the types of products that you offer. Can you elaborate on those so that people can get a basic understanding of some of the things that these things cover?
Well, basically they're designed to cover the gaps in Medicare, because Medicare really covers 80% after deductibles. And for hospitalization, the deductible is $1,132 per year.
Okay. And so the stuff that you offer would cover that deductible?
Correct.
I see.
Okay. All right. So when you talk about the gaps, and I'm confused about the gaps, how many gaps are there, or what are you protecting us with those gaps? Is that what you're doing?
Well, most seniors are on a fixed income.
Okay.
And so that $1,132 can be a hardship every year.
For sure.
And even the $162 deductible for seeing the doctor on an outpatient on Part B, that can be a hardship every year.
So the premiums that you charge, is it something that people pay monthly for this service that you provide? Okay. And are the prices based upon like age and health and all of that?
Age.
Okay.
And and there's several choices on plans. And so the price would be based on which plan that covers which specific benefits and age and sex and or gender, I should say, and which zip code the person lives in.
Wow, even the zip code. And so just think, if all of these decisions and all this stuff that people have to get involved with, if they're not using an expert like yourself, they can really miss out on a lot of opportunities that are there for them, and probably pretty inexpensively.
Well, one thing that I know that a lot of people don't know is that the plans changed in June 1st, just this past year.
Okay.
All the supplement plans now offer hospice.
Okay.
That would cover the 20% that Medicare doesn't cover it on hospice. And it can really draw down someone's savings for their heirs.
And I have read that those last few years of life really suck. That's where all of the savings go. And I've got a couple more questions. Well, we've got a lot more questions. I want to talk a little bit about Part A and Part B. We are Networking Squared. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll be right back after the break.